Hello students, this is Ain Reddy. In today's video, we are going to revise Unit 1 of English 12 Life Stories. The content will include three main parts: topic-related vocabulary, grammar, past and past continuous tenses, and articles, and finally, homophones. First, let's take a look at this vocabulary list that we learned in class. Are there any words that are still unfamiliar to you? Please let me know in the chat box. And try to make your own sentences using these vocabulary. All right. And let's move on with grammar points of past and past continuous tenses. Remember, the past continuous is used to talk about the past action in progress, and the past simple to talk about a shorter action that interrupted it. For example, a storm hits the island while I was enjoying my holiday there last year. The past continuous can be used with always or constantly to describe repeated or irritating actions or events in the past. It is quite similar to used to, but usually has negative meaning. For example, our neighbor was always complaining about the noise in the building. Let's move on with the next point of grammar that we learned in class, which was articles. Do you know the definite article the is generally used before a singular or plural noun when we talk about a specific thing or actions. For example, the dog that beats me ran away. I like the films directed by Steven Spielberg. And also, there are separate cases in which articles can be omitted, like before sport or mean of transport. We don't use articles. For example, play tennis, travel by underground. Or before street, lakes, bays, mountains, islands, most countries, states, cities, and continents. Let's look at the examples. Baker Street, Sword Lake, Easter Island, Mountains Everest, New York, and Africa. And also before academic subjects, nationalities, and languages. We do not need to use articles. For example, history, geography, and Japanese. And the last case, which is the names of the magazines, we don't use article. For example, New Scientist. There's also some other exceptions, like we do need to use the before names of musical instruments, like play the piano, before the names of oceans, rivers, sea, desert, ranges of mountains, islands, rivers. For example, the Pacific Ocean, the Red River, the Sahara, the Andes, the Bahamas. Before geographical areas, names of countries with kingdom or state in their name, like plural names of their country, the Middle East, the United States, the Netherlands. Before names or organizations, museum, hotels, important buildings, the United Nations, the Louvre, the Grand Hotel, the Twin Towers. Before adjectives used as nouns, people of a country, the rich, the poor, the Japanese. Before unique objects or transport systems, the sun, the London Underground. And lastly, before names of newspapers or, for example, the Washington Post or the Internet. And the last point to remember about articles is with the other two articles, which are and an. So in general, or an is used before singular and countable nouns. No articles are used before plural or uncountable nouns when they are used in an abstract or general meaning. Examples: I have a cat. Cat is a singular and countable noun. Children should not stay up late at night. Children is a plural noun and general meaning. We need more information and advice. information, and advice are uncountable nouns. There are also the exceptions to these rules. For example, we use a or an after a word such quite, which are countable noun, to express our emotions. For example, what a magnificent house. We shouldn't go out in such a bad storm. It's quite a small house. We use a or an to describe jobs or identities. For example, my mother is a doctor. Brian is an Englishman. We use those two articles with a possessive. Examples, he's a friend of mine. And last but not least, we use those two articles before an illness. Exceptions, except for have the flu, or have the measles. For example, I've got a headache or a cold. And the last point of our video, a revision of Unit 1, is about homophones. So do you remember what homophones are? They are the words or combination of words that have different spellings or meaning, but have the same pronunciation. Let's take a look at the examples. We have two, in a strong form. We have board or board. We have peas or peas, your and your, there and there, theirs, father, new or new. Those pairs of words, even though pronounced the same, but completely different in their meanings or the spellings. So let's bear this knowledge in mind, because they can be very confusing when you listen to a recording and do the listening task. So that is the end of our prevision video today for Unit 1. See you again in the next video in Unit 2.